Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines from our city, our state, our country, and of course from England. As much as we try to remain focused on Mexico and our lives here in Puerto Vallarta, Queen Elizabeth is gone. And, you cannot ignore that. So we're going to talk about Queen Elizabeth briefly later on today in the broadcast, along with other bits of news that we have prepared for you. And as always, we are going to take a look at your comments, your ideas, your suggestions on how to best enjoy ourselves here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. Today is Friday. It's Friday, September 9th. Yes. I wonder what you guys are up to this weekend. I'm going to go to the movies tomorrow, and I still haven't decided what I'm going to do on Sunday. But yes, I'm excited because this has been a week of a lot of learning between the new microphones that we got thanks to Bill Bass and some other software packages that I'm learning to bring more features to Coffee and Headlines. It's been a week of a lot of learning. So I'm excited about the weekend. I'm excited to tell you more about this later on. But first, as always, if you are joining us live for the first time, it's a pleasure to see you. You can let us know that you're here by adding the word new to your comment, and we'll be so very happy to give you a nice little welcome. If you have something on your mind that is very important to you that you want to share with a cluster, or you would like to see a response or a comment about, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q to your comment. So there you have it. Those are the rules of engagement. I think we're ready. I think we're good to go. So, yes, have I missed anything? No, I don't think so. Let's do it. Well, oh my goodness, how does one begin to acknowledge the passing of Queen Elizabeth? I don't know. I've been reading a lot. Of course, there's no direct impact in my life, but how can one ignore? And I think Maggie has put it in a very nice statement. Queen Elizabeth was a constant in the life of anyone younger than 75, so it's shocking to realize she's now gone. Absolutely. Whether you understood the monarchy or not, whether you were pro the monarchy or against it, whether you watched The Crown on Netflix or not, you cannot ignore something of this magnitude. And I think the next few days, while the United Kingdom goes through their ritual, something that apparently has been rehearsed for the longest time, we will be reading a lot about this, so we'll be mindful of that in the next week or so. Of course, a lot of local papers are mentioning the fact that the Queen visited Mexico twice, once in 1975 and once in 1983. And it was during this second visit that she actually visited Puerto Vallarta. And of course, we talked about this back on February 2nd, on our February 2nd broadcast. We talked about this. So I have pulled out that segment from the February 2nd broadcast, and I set it up as a separate video in case you are curious to learn more about what it was like for the people of Puerto Vallarta to welcome the Queen when she was here. And I'll make that available in the show notes as always. If you are planning on heading to the beach this weekend, please be mindful that as of yesterday, all local beaches still had a red flag warning due to Hurricane K, indicating that it is not safe to go swimming in the ocean. I don't know if the warning has been lifted as of this morning, so just be careful out there. Of course, Hurricane K developed into a Category 2 hurricane, and then it became a Category 1 hurricane again, and it touched land in Baja California and is now out of the picture. And we don't have any news of any new developments in the Pacific Ocean as yet. A few days ago, we informed that the tension between the maritime terminal authorities and the fishermen that have been using the Los Peines dock for decades is increasing. This tension is, of course, because the fishermen are expected to relocate, and we don't know what's going to happen with them. And now, thanks to Noticias PB, we learned that a project to build a new Malecón tourist area and commercial spaces at that spot has been green-lighted by the local government. This, of course, sounds very exciting as far as the tourism development of our city is concerned, but the news places the future of these fishermen in limbo. There are no further details available about the project at this time or the outcome for the fishermen, but I am sure that this is a topic we will continue to learn more details about in the future. We also informed you about this controversial tax that has been proposed to charge people 75 pesos for the privilege of owning a pet here in Puerto Vallarta. And the municipal government has rectified and clarified their position on the matter. Now the government has informed that the pet registry's goal is simply to have a control model and to raise awareness among the population about the responsibilities associated with owning a pet, and also making it helpful to recover a pet should one go missing. And of course, this will have no cost. But if you're wondering who came up with the brilliant idea of charging people a tax for owning a pet, it was our favorite council member, Maria Elena Curiel. You may recall that she was in the news a few weeks ago when she was accused of shameless nepotism. She had, I think, 2 of her kids and her spouse in the city payroll, and this is, of course, a huge no-no in the law. Not to mention the fact that Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador had already declared at national level that there would be no taxes in Mexico for owning a pet. And regardless of that, our beloved Maria Elena Curiel came up with this notion. Thank goodness it has been removed. And now let's take a look at our weather forecast just to see what our snarky weatherman is up to today. Oh, well, of course, I know Loeb. She is me, says our snarky carrot weather. I have no idea what that is about because I have no idea who Loeb is or what Loeb is. But what is important to see here is that it is 27 degrees Celsius out there right now. It is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is at 100%. So it's going to be one of them schwitzy days that we love to enjoy so much. Our weather forecast for today: possible light rain in the morning. If it rained, I missed it. A high of 31 and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Saturday, we can expect rain in the evening and overnight with a high of 31 and a low of 25. Sunday, rain and humidity through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 24. So expect a humid and rainy weekend as far as I can see. Let's see what else we have. Oh yes, of course, we have more details about local Independence Day celebrations. Um, these have been made available by Luis Jesus Escoto, who oversees the Vallarta Cultural Institute. I hate to call him the director because everybody in the know knows that he knows nothing about culture. But that's a different story. What he has revealed is that the pageant, and yes, there will be a pageant, to crown the lady ambassador to the independence celebrations. What the hell is that supposed to mean? And what is the job description? I have no idea. But the pageant will take place at the Malecon on September 15 around 8 p.m. and continue until 10:30. And the ceremony will also feature a mariachi performance and a surprise artist appearances, which of course is code for we're still figuring out what we're going to do and who we can afford to bring. Apparently, a special stage will be assembled, but authorities have yet to figure out exactly where and how this is going to happen. Does it seem to you that I don't have a lot of faith in the local government to pull out all this stuff? Well, if it does, then you are correct. I see a lot of interesting comments from you folks about the pet tax, including Raymond, who says people are angry about proposed tax on dogs and cats. Is that a pet peeve? Well, that's an interesting pun. That's a lovely pun. And yesterday there were some comments from you folks about how the pet tax is enforced in the United States and Canada. And of course, I reacted as I usually react, saying, well, this is not the United States or Canada. And before we get into all of your comments, I am going to give you some food for thought as to why a 75 peso tax for pets, regardless of whether it goes to neutering or this, that, or the other, is insane. It's just insane in Mexico. And I'm going to do this thanks to this lovely headline that I found that begs the question of, can Mexicans actually afford a new iPhone? As you may know, Apple released the new iPhone models earlier this week. I, along with any Apple enthusiast, was glued to the screen watching the announcement of the new products. And of course, I was all gaga about the features and this, that, and the other. But how much are they? And who can afford them? Well, here's some food for thought. Of the 130 million people living in Mexico, only 3.9 million of those people have a salary over 20,000 pesos a month, which is the cost of a new entry-level iPhone. This is the entry-level iPhone. More advanced models will cost as much as 42,000 pesos. So it's not like the vast majority of the population can afford a brand new state-of-the-art fancy schmancy cell phone. Now, let's look at another food for thought fact. The canasta básica, or market basket, is an indicator of how much it costs to feed a person in Mexico on a given day. And it is estimated that today, given inflation, so forth and so on, it takes about 68 pesos and 10 cents to feed a person in Mexico. 68 pesos and 10 cents, which you might think, well, that's not a lot of money. But keep in mind that 38.3% of people with jobs in Mexico, people that are earning a salary, 38% of people earning a salary, or approximately 49.2 million people in Mexico, don't make enough money to afford this basic market basket. In other words, 49.2 million people in Mexico do not make enough money to pay 68 pesos a day to feed themselves. Why do I bring this up? Just as an eye opener. Whenever we see increases in basic staple foods like tortillas, or even the slightest increase in public transportation prices, or heaven forbid, a tax for owning a pet, you can see how even the smallest amounts make a huge difference in the lives of the vast majority of people in Mexico. Again, this is Mexico. It's not Canada, and it's not the United States. So I put that out there just so that you can keep that in perspective. Before we dive into your comments, this continues to roam in my mind, and I don't know what to do about it. A week from today, this crazy bus charter company called Via Rio Grande will take you to Tequila, leaving Puerto Vallarta at 5 a.m. in the morning and bring you back at 11 o'clock at night for 700 pesos. It's a quick and dirty, all day long bus ride to Tequila and back. And there's this part of me that is just thinking, Paco, just go and document and do it. I don't know that I will. I don't know that I won't, but it's happening a week from today. I don't even know if they still have spaces available, but I'm going to share it in the show notes in case you are as crazy as me and would consider an outing such as this one. And now let us take a quick look at your comments just to see what everybody is up to on this beautiful Friday. Feel free to let me know what you're up to this weekend. And I think I already told you what I'm up to this weekend. I'm going to the movies tomorrow. Today I'm having lunch with a very important person to Coffee and Headlines. Our pun meister himself, Raymond Dunn of Artisan Bakery, and I are sharing a lovely lunch at Whiskey Kitchen today. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Parim pam pum pam pum. Lots of good mornings as always. Lots of good mornings. Let's see. Many good mornings. Oh, that's punny. I heard Charles finally got a job at age 73. Well, oh my God, there's so many things that they'll have to change all the currency, all the bills, all the coins, all the passports that have an image of the Queen. The logistics of Queen Elizabeth passing just boggle my mind. Let's see what we have. Oh my God, and what are they going to do with all the fabulous hats? I've been seeing articles about what happens to the corgis, what happens to this, what happens to the other. It's going to be one of those weeks, without a doubt. Let's see what we have. Buenos dias, says Logie. Crazy bike ride along the Malecon this morning, all taped off. Lots of rock, sand, and sea debris. Muchas olas. Yes, we are aware of this. And just be careful out there, as we mentioned before. Brian went to see Nope at La Isla. I found the movie absolutely fascinating, and we could talk about this a mile a minute, but we won't. I'm just glad that somebody else liked it. Yay. Let's see what else we have. Is my t-shirt on backwards? Oh my God, it is. Quite possibly. Yes, my t-shirt is on backwards. I hope this doesn't affect your ability to connect with the city or with our content. Is your t-shirt on backwards? It's early in the morning. What do you want? Let's see what else we have. Oh, good. Paco, we accepted your recommendation for Huarique, the restaurant, and it was delicious. We had a great time and even took home a few desserts. I am envious because I actually have never been. I've never been to Huarique. I never went when it was in Emiliano Zapata, and I haven't been now that it is in behind the stadium. And I'm looking forward to checking out the restaurant as it has a very, very good reputation. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and thanks for the feedback. Pum pum pum. Da 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 da. My T-shirt is backwards. Yes, yes. The royal family is creating a new reality show called "Oh Sage, you're out of control." It's called Charles in Charge. I'm not ready to get that snarky. I'm gonna give it some days to be. No, actually, that's not true because I mean, there's been a lot of accounts of Queen Elizabeth's sense of humor. There's that wonderful account of her hiking near Balmoral where she passed away, and she was hiking with her bodyguard, and she encountered some American tourist hikers that were around, and they asked her if she knew the Queen, and she said, "No, I don't." But this guy walking with me, her bodyguard, sees her all the time. So the tourist asked the Queen to take a selfie of the bodyguard and them, not knowing that they were asking the late Queen of England to take the photo. And of course, there are the videos of the Queen with Paddington Bear. They're absolutely wonderful. Da 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 da. Let's see. Be careful getting into the ocean. I heard there are a lot of jellyfish in the ocean. Screw the jellyfish, Angelica, with all due respect. I mean, if the waves are high, nobody should be going into the ocean, period. Let's see. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. I'm looking at your comments. The council lady needs the chancla. Well, she's not getting a lot of bunny points, that's for sure. Sage says, I'm okay with a pet tax. Pet tax if the funds go to sterilization programs to stop the stray populations. Again, I'm sure you wrote that, Sage, before I gave you a little perspective on how Mexicans make, how much money we make, and I'm not okay with a pet tax. I'm simply not okay. Oh my goodness, today is Arturo's birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, papi. Arturo is a cook, a chef at Whiskey Kitchen. So glad that you're watching. Let's see what else we have. There's a queue here. Almost nobody in the US can afford a new iPhone. Most make monthly payments for 2 to 3 years before it's paid for, but it's then obsolete and they get on the payment treadmill again. Absolutely true. They're not inexpensive devices. They can do a lot of things and they replace a bunch of other items, but you know, if that 75 pesos went to feed the population, I'd gladly pay it. But we all know it will end up in politicians' pockets. Well, that is a very optimistic point of view, Peggy. If you actually think that money ends up in politicians' pockets, if that is how little faith you have in Mexico's judiciary system, then I have to say that I feel sad for you. My 2 cents. Let's see what else we have. Thank you, Clay. T-shirt on backwards, you get 2 wearings out of it before laundering. I actually get 2 wearings out of them regardless. You see, my wardrobe for Coffee and Headlines sits right. See that orange shirt? That's where I leave the T-shirts that I wear for half an hour each day, and I rotate them. And when I've worn them twice, then they go to the watch. It so happens that today I put the T-shirt on backwards. But again, I certainly hope that that will not interfere with your ability to enjoy the content. Let's see what else we have. Oh, thank God. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm so glad I'm not the only one, because I was glued to the BBC all day long yesterday. I kept it as a background source of information. We heard that someone drowned at Los Muertos 2 days ago swimming with a red flag waving. Have you heard this? You know, Kate, I don't hear. I read. And yes, I read headlines of people that drown in the waves quite frequently. We just don't report them because it's not the kind of news that we report here. When somebody tells me, have I heard? I appreciate that. But again, as far as content for Coffee and Headlines, we don't go by what we hear. We go by what we read and what we read in the good news sources. If your t-shirt is on backwards, better check your underwear, Alan. I'm not wearing any. And this, my friends, is the end of today's broadcast. I hope you had a good time. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll be back here tomorrow. I don't know exactly what we're going to discuss. I don't even know what I'm going to wear, much less whether I'm going to wear it properly or improperly. And quite honestly, I really don't care. Have a good day.